remember giving my kids pocket money.
Yeah.
Sure, I did, and certainly if they volunteered to clean my car, for example, I would name them a price for doing that. That was always good.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah.
I think children need to learn the ins and outs of money and how you
Funny.
spend it, how you save it, rather than just giving them giving them pocket money to be good. As you say, they should behave anyway. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see a value in giving in children pocket money,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was just thinking about just kind of relating it to the incentive of, trying to get people
Yeah,
fit by incentivizing them with whether be it money or whatever, vouchers or whatever
yeah.
incentive that, they didn't fit. Yeah. So what was the next thing that we was going to talk about? Let me just, because we
Have a
did,
look on WhatsApp.
yeah, let's just have a look. Oh, you did say you were going to
I
talk
was going to
about,
continue at one stage
that's
a
it.
few coincidences.
That's it. Yeah, I think that was that. Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Because when I was doing the editing, I listened to the Mexico one, and it got me really thinking. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
well, what happens on a
weird.
leap? What happens on a leap year, for instance, Trevor? So say let's say they commemorate
Yeah.
or they do a drill, like you said. So they do a drill every 19th of each year. Uh,
September the 19th. Yeah.
September 19th, to sort of bolster their preparedness for
Mm.
having whether having an earthquake or whatever. And I'm thinking, right, okay, so what if the date falls off by say a day? Because a leap year, because in a leap
Yeah.
year you'd have 29 days, won't you? In February rather than 28 days.
Mm.
What then happens? Do they then adjust it to to
Well, they
accommodate?
stick with the dates. I mean, there's always going to be a September the 19th, irrespective of whether it's a leap year or not. I mean, this year is a leap year, isn't it?
Yeah,
But I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine they stick with the 19th of September, because otherwise, I guess they would have to do it on the day before, wouldn't they? Because
yeah,
that would be the number of days into the year.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
September the 18th. I guess they would stick with the date of the earthquakes. But it is incredible that something like that should happen on that same day three times in, what was it? The first one was in 1985
yeah.
and the last one was in 2022. So about 37 years. The three earthquakes, major earthquakes, on the same date seems something a bit weird. But equally, having looked a lot at the whole idea of random chance
Yeah,
and coincidence, things that we would think are a huge coincidence, often are not when you take into account the sheer numbers of times things happen. I mean, for example, I'll give you another example.
right.
In Pennsylvania, in the US, not very long ago, so this century, so probably in the early 2000s, a guy he won on lottery. I think it was cards, massive prize scratch cards,
Yeah.
and he bought a number in one day, and he won twice in one day.
Wow.
Now the thing is, the odds of doing that are so ridiculous. And when I say he won twice, it wasn't like £100. I mean, this was big bucks. It was probably 2-3 million pounds on each card. I
Yeah.
don't know the precise amount, but it was very much a huge amount of money each time. Now, for him to buy, he may have bought 10 cards that day. He may have bought 20. I don't know. He may have bought two.
Yeah.
But to win twice, the odds, I looked this up when I heard this story. The, the, the odds of winning the lottery like that twice in one day, twice is massive odds, but twice in one day was one in 23.5 trillion. Now that's mind blowing, isn't it? We think in millions and billions, even a billion being 1,000 million,
Yeah.
but a trillion is, as far as I know, a billion billion. I mean, it is crazy, crazy, really. It
Wow.
could be 1,000 billion or a billion, but either way, it's not really going to happen. And people would think, wow, that guy, what caused that? What a massive thing to happen. And I guess if it happened to you, even winning a lottery, you
Yeah,
would feel very chosen because
yeah.
so few people do. But actually, the statistician's view of that is that because thousands, probably millions in America, of people are buying these massive prize scratch cards every day, then the statisticians say it's almost more likely to happen than not, something like that, which is
All
quite an
right.
interesting thing. It comes back to my thing the other week about the definition of coincidence. The fact
Yeah.
is, if there's millions of opportunities for something to happen, then it's more likely to happen than not. So, although the odds, as we said before, of winning the Euro Millions jackpot is 1 in 143 million,
Yeah.
which is awesome, really. You think no one could ever win it, but people do win it very regularly. I mean, not necessarily every week, but that those numbers come up in the 9 countries that do the Euro Millions. Um, so there's 9 lots of people buying those tickets. They
Yeah.
do come up. So the person who wins that jackpot of anything from 14 million to 180 million pounds or euros could only feel special. They think, how could this possibly have happened to me, given all those odds? Because it
Yeah.
actually happens to very, very few people, obviously. But the odds, if you do win it, the odds in a way don't even matter because, so what? Someone's beaten ridiculous odds. But given that millions of people are buying millions of tickets
Yeah.
every week, then it's not surprising that probably every other week someone has a ticket, or maybe 2 people have the ticket with the winning number on. And
Yeah.
that's the thing about coincidence, I think, a random chance. We think maybe there's something else behind it. Maybe, something weird above us or anything like that is dictating these odd events. But in reality, it's just the inevitability of random chance will occur in people's lives, in all of our lives sometimes.
Mm.
I mean, I'll ask you a question. Is it random chance? Recently, there was a solar eclipse,
Right.
wasn't it? It was a solar eclipse rather than a lunar eclipse,
Right.
which means the moon has gone across the sun. And it was very visible in America back in April, just recently. And I think it was partially visible here as well, but not a full one. But in America, they showed it on the TV. It was a complete solar eclipse. Now, when you think the moon is what, quarter of a million miles from us,
Yeah.
250 odd, 245,000 miles from the Earth. The sun is 93 million miles away. So how can it be that this little moon, little by comparison with the Earth even, can possibly block out the whole sun? And it's amazing how it happens. If you don't know, and again, is it coincidence? Is it the creative force? Is it God? If there's a creator, which I think many of us believe there is a creative force, was that engineered as part of the law of physics? That the reason it happens is the moon as a mass is 400 times smaller than the sun in all respects.
Right.
You could multiply the moon in volume 400 times and you get the sun.
Wow.
So the diameter of the moon is 400 times less than the diameter of the sun. So it should be a little spot on the sun. But the coincidence, the random chance, or it's engineered, the sun is exactly 400 times further away from the Earth as the moon,
Yeah.
which completely means when you look at them in the sky, they're both the same size. And if you think about it, when we see a full moon, it is about the size of the sun that we're not supposed to look at, but we all see the sun sometimes.
Yeah.
So what an incredible thing that